Hello and welcome to Sega News Bits. I'm Barry, with me is George.
Hello everyone.
And we're going to be talking about the most disappointing Sega games of 2020. We did a favorites video. It's out there, you can watch that. So, like if you like the bad news first and then the good news, you can watch this and then that, or the other way around. If you were wondering why we're not calling it the worst Sega game or the worst Atlas game of 2020, it's because Sega does not make bad games. They only make games that disappoint us, and that makes us stronger, and it makes them stronger. It's a real thing. So before we say what our most disappointing game is, I think we should say 2020 was actually a very good year for Sega. So this is difficult. Yeah. This is very difficult. I honestly don't think we can do runners-ups because I can't think of any.
Yeah, I can't really think of a game where you stand down and be like, oof, they shouldn't have released that game. I would say that maybe their lowest rated game that they published was probably something like Rock of Ages 2, and it was a digital published Atlas game, and it's very loosely tied into Sega, and it's not even that lowly rated. I think it was almost 70 Metacritic.
Yeah.
So even if we're even that, it's you're really picking. You're really being really critical. I think this is Sega's strongest year. Persona 5 Royale is the highest rated Metacritic game of the year, period. Mm-hmm. It beat Cyberpunk, so you really can't ask for a better year for Sega as a whole. So to say that we have to pick a disappointing game and then more disappointing games as runner-ups, it's hard.
It's really very hard, yeah. So, if you check out the Sega Bits forums, I know forums are kind of an old thing. We have a very helpful member there. His name's Berto, and he puts lists up. So if you guys are wondering just what Sega put out this year, you can check that out. It's stickied on our forums under the general gaming discussion section. But I'm skimming it. And really, it's unfair for me to say, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is the worst. And it's why? Because I haven't played it and it looks bad?
Yeah.
2 Point Hospital's the worst. Why? Because I haven't played it and it's not a genre I'm really into? Oh, okay. Not fair. So I will say my runner-up is that free game that they gave out called Armor of Heroes. It was unplayable, broken, and boring. But it was free, so what am I complaining about? I would say my most disappointing game of 2020 is, and I'm gonna get raked over the coals for this, is Panzer Dragoon Remake, and I say that based on the original release.
Yeah.
And I know people say, it got patched. Honestly, I thought Shenmue 1 and 2 Remastered was one of the most disappointing games of that year that it came out, because again, it got patched until it was playable. And Sega's better than that, especially when it's a tiny little remake game. This isn't Cyberpunk 2077. This is a little remake of Panzer Dragoon, a Sega Saturn game. How do you mess that up?
Yeah.
It's unfair to the franchise. Honestly, I think it's unfair to the developer if Sega pushed them. And I have to wonder too, why is Sega going with them for a second remake as well as Virtua Cop? Which I have to wonder, how is that going to control with our D-pad? What are their plans? It's such a weird thing going on that Sega's not talking about publicly. It's not like we see interviews, so I don't know. It disappointed me, and I finally played it on PS4 and I enjoyed it. So that sounds really shitty, but the original version that I saw and played for a bit just disappointed me. So that's me.
Yeah. Now you're putting all the pressure on me. Maybe Total War Saga Troy, and they're patching that one too, but it was also given away for free on Epic Games. I don't know, there's a lot of people that don't like that service, so Sega kind of gave this game away for free, but it was kind of a mess when I first played it, and it was a huge download that I had to I forgot what it was. It was if you use a certain armory unit, you could basically kill everything. It was so unbalanced, at least for what I remember. So I uninstalled it right away and didn't go back. But I heard that it's being patched, so that's another game that's like that. I could name that. I kind of want to try to sneak my way out of this even more and just say it's more like the announcement of SEGA Ages going away, I think, was the biggest disappointment for Sega.
For sure.
Because it's like you're killing a line that's been active since this, well, on and off. So, I mean, it could always come back, but it's been active since the Sega Saturn era. And now you're trying to, at least saying that it's dead for now when you should have been expanding this. I feel like Capcom is doing something about it. I don't know if you've seen this, but Capcom's announcing the Capcom Arcade app thing for Switch. I wish Sega would do an app like that, where it's like Sega Ages app, right? And then it's on Xbox One, all the consoles, and then you can just buy the games on the app, and it plays and saves and cross saves. And so if you play it on your PS5 or PS4 or Xbox One or PC, the app saves all your games, all your purchases, and it's just compatible.
Yeah,
I hope that's something that Sega should have been expanding to with the Sega Ages stuff, but instead we're here now it's dead. That's disappointing.
That would have been awesome, because I'm reminded of Game Room for XBLA that was playable on both 360 and PC. It was a cross-compatible hub where you could buy Atari, Intellivision, all of these classic arcade games, and then you set up... Do you remember this? You set up, an arcade in 3D, and you could move around it, and I'm surprised Sega hasn't done something like that, given they basically run arcades, or at least they used to. But, it would have been awesome. But Sega Ages just fizzled out.
That's another disappointing thing, too, is the closure of arcades because of COVID-19. There's also no Sonic game being announced this year, which I think would have kind of put a little cherry on the pie of good games, because Sega had a bunch of good games, but the Blue Hedgehog's always being talked about, right? Because they just had a hit movie. So little things like that they could improve for next year. Obviously, next year's the 30th anniversary, so it should be a big year.
Huge. We're going to get sick of Sonic next year. So what do you guys think in the comments below? Let us know what your most disappointing game or disappointing event from Sega or Atlas, or even Sammy. We don't talk about them that much. Maybe Sammy did something really disappointing that we don't know about. Sound off in the comments below, and don't forget, check out our other video. It's right there. Look at it.
Somewhere right here. Look at it. Right
there it is.
Bye.
Bye.